Check, mic check. Waiting for perfect timing. Oh, okay. Microphone checker, microphone checker, microphone checker, microphone checker. Can't see in red, man. Can't see in red. He in the building early with his comments. He must be busy today. He dropped his off, man, like at the bank, man. Ken came in 30, 40 minutes early, dropping off his comments like dirty laundry, man. What the fuck? Oh, man, I almost messed it. How many minutes? I'm about to cuss out my partner, man. I gotta wait 2 minutes before I get to cussing out my partner, man. What I look like, man? This is not the dry cleaners, man. We don't take out the laundry, man. My partner dropped through, man, just to drop off his comments, man, and he skedaddle, man. Like, perfect, I ain't got time to watch a podcast, man. Let me drop my comments off like some dirty draws, man. Address these dirty draws, perfect, man. I'm gonna drop these off for you 2 cents, man. Let me drop off my 2 cents, man. You know what I'm saying, man? I ain't gonna be able to be there, right? So, you know, man, I function with you, perfect. You know, I function with you. So let me drop off these 2 comments, man. Let me drop off these comments, man, like some dirty underwear, man. You know what I'm saying? The podcast ain't started, but it's all right. The comment section is open, man. And I ain't going to be showing up, man. You know, I got a blue wrist, but I don't really show up, man, and show out, man. So I'm going to just drop off a couple comments, man, real quick and skedaddle up out of here, man. Salute to you, man. Yeah, man, just a couple comments, man. This ain't nothing, man. Just a couple comments, man. You know, man, yeah, I just drop off a couple comments for your player. You know, I ain't got time to watch the whole podcast, man. So I drop off a couple comments for your player. There's a couple comments for your player. There's a couple comments for you, mate. Kids seeing red, man. Before we even get started, man, he said, hey, the BW ran them away. And then the other comment said, got promoted, started new position, so I'm not going to be able to participate in the chat. Woo! Oh man, it didn't feel good to be a Negro in 2025, man, because this only happened when you got Negro people. You know, as I be listening to some of them, you know, this is a podcast, relationship advice from an OG perspective, and we're gonna get into where have all the good men gone, and we pass our 2 minutes so I can cuss on my partner. But really, what I wanted to say is, you know, I be noticing a lot of stuff on the panels that we discuss, and these are uniquely ADOS FBA problems. Uniquely, a lot of the things that are discussed on these panels are uniquely ADOS and FBA problems, right? And I've noticed that conversely across the board, man. You know, a lot of people will discuss a lot of these relationships, because this is a relationship podcast, right? A lot of people be talking about the relationships, right? And when I listen, you know, it's very telling, right? And I noticed some of the people I noticed that we had on the Roger Report 2 individuals who went to a PWI. And so on the Antoine Daniels and a couple of these panels, one of the brothers, I don't know if they actually graduated, like Hot Sauce and Tampa Bong, you know what I'm saying? But not only graduated, but are working successful in their career. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear about PWIs and the admissions, they don't want to just admit people that will do and be good students, but after they graduate, will they be successful entrepreneurs and business people? That's what makes the college look good, right? So I see a couple PWI folks. I see a couple PWI folks on a couple panels. So, and the thing is that I'd be like, you know, a lot of these issues are unique to FBA ADOS individuals, right? Specifically unique idiosyncrasies that specifically belong to the B-Dub. And shout out to Ken C and Red for even going there. because it's so very true. And a lot of time, and I get this from my mother and my grandmother, and as I realize a lot of times that people haven't been trained in the same way that I've been trained, which is unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But I get this from my mother and my grandmother, right? And a lot of the issues that we decide to discuss, I think could be remedied. Like I dealt with this at 12 years old, 16 years old. I told a story about my little brother. Like we had moved out of the inner city and we had an opportunity to live in Arizona and be in a predominantly white area like PWI, predominantly white school. I went to a high school that had 2,000 kids and it was 10 black kids. So mostly white, mostly Mormon. And there actually was a skinhead gang in my high school. I tell this story a lot. It was a skinhead gang called the Hammers in my high school. So people of my color and my background, they got chased home from high school. I used to walk my friends to class. People were scared to come to school, so a lot of people didn't come to school. So I would walk my homies to class. That's my high school situation. So I've lived in both areas. And what I know about a lot of things on the panel, and then I went on, like I talked about Hot Sauce at Temple Bar. After I graduated, I went to an academic middle school, academically focused high school. I received an academic diploma because I never took electives. This is my father's design, right? AP classes, CP classes, college credits when I graduated high school. So then I went on to be successful in business, and I work around a lot of in tech, especially in the time when I worked in tech. It's a lot of non-blacks, right? So if you ever been in Silicon Valley, Santa Clara, San Jose, there's been lawsuits, class action lawsuits about the fact that it's so one-sided in tech. There's mostly Indian, Asian, Pakistani, Asian. When you go to Silicon Valley, everybody's brown, right? Everybody's brown or Asian. This never gets talked about when we talk about employment and money and power in tech. I don't know if it's enough black men in tech that are successful that have actually been like, when I go to these places, I've been paid to go to these places, to different places that I've flown to and do presentations and get education. So when I'm in San Jose, when I'm in Santa Clara, I'm being paid to be there to do a job. And I rarely see anyone else that looks like me, but I see, like, not only is everybody Pakistani, Afghani, Indian, Asian, Yemen, but the infrastructure is built up around that. And that's the thing that I've noticed. The infrastructure, the food, the clothing stores, everything, and then it's affluent. It's not cheap Pakistani restaurants. It's high end Pakistani restaurants. You know what I'm saying? In Silicon Valley, San Jose, in these places, right? So when I'm in these areas and I'm going to these schools, you notice how you see what happened with the question about, do white women marry early, and why do white women marry? Why are white women marrying black men at a high rate and high quality black men? And why are they marrying them in college adversely to black women who are not marrying black men in college, but would rather wait till later on in life to marry a black man? So I've actually lived it. Like, you hear these panels, you see this discussion, but I've lived it. I've dated these women. I've dated non-black women. My wife now is a non-black woman. So you hear the discussions with, and then the few black men who are in these areas, some of us, like, I was a Malcolm Farrakhan type of dude, you know what I'm saying? So I'm blackity black, 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 blackity black, black. That's me, right? So I'm ultra black in these areas, right? So I gotta find a black woman. I gotta do everything black, right? And it caught, like Ali Sadiq talk about, I only wanted to date a black woman, but it caused me pain. He said the person that hurt me the most in this world, in my life, has been black women. And I'm listening to Ali Sadiq. It's the same thing like with that black girl who had the daddy issues. I listen to people talk about their trauma, but they refuse. It's arrested development. Put it in the chat. It's arrested development. Ali Sadiq, that they all suffer from arrested development. You stuck in your childhood trauma. You just admitted to me on stage, one of the biggest, hottest new comedians, the person who's hurt you more in your life. We saw an intimate Domino Effect Part 2. I cried. Everybody cried. If you ever saw Domino Effect 4-part series, Part 2, super emotional, bro. The person who hurt him the most in his life by his own admission, he admits two things. He admits that his mother didn't love him. We talked about those issues. I think this is why he trapped dating black women. We talked about this. He admits his mother did not love him, and he admits at the same token, the person who's hurt him most in his life has been black women. Now, he's told a story about going to prison for almost a decade, being assaulted by a sheriff while in prison, being kidnapped, being attempted murder, homicide. He shared all these intimate stories. But think about black men's life, bro, because it's so similar to a lot of people. So he shares all these intimate stories, but who hurt him the most? Ain't that a trip? Selling drugs at 14 years old. A grown man hits him so hard, you still see the pain and the scar today. A 50-year-old man, you see the scar from when he was selling crack, a 14-year-old, and a grown man robbed him and hit him so hard, disconnected his eye socket. The person who hurt him the most is a black woman. The B-Dub. Think about that. 14-year-old drug dealer, murder, incarceration, kidnap. And the person who hurt him, but yet and still, in the same breath, he says, but I refuse to date anybody but a black woman. It ain't even funny. It's the tragedy. You know how what they call a tragic comedy. What the romance? That's what a romance is. That's what, you know, when you talk about Romeo and Juliet. It's comedy and tragedy mixed all enthralled in one. You know what I'm saying? Dramedy. You know what I'm saying? But that's a tragic comedy. You know what I'm saying? He just explained to us his trauma. All of his trauma from his mother, his father. And then, like the black girl said, my father cussed and abused my mother, and then she went out and dated men identical to her father. Ali Sadiq identified a mother who was masculine, abusive, and didn't love him. And then Ali Sadiq, who was an intelligent brother, goes out and dates and marries women who are identical as his mother. And then he's not even successfully married. And then he comes back and tells us, despite his reflection, in retrospect, he still cannot date out of his race. Tell me this ain't crazy. Where have all the good men gone? See, insanity. All of us are not going to stay insane. I am explaining to you someone who needs therapy. Do you see young Jeezy and all of the things he's doing to help with mental health? How black men need to go to therapy? I explained to you when we talk about Ali Sadiq, a good man, a great comedian, a multimillionaire who's been open with us about a special time. My time. I grew up in this crack era. I was Ali Sadiq. I was also the son husband. I've been Ali Sadiq, trapped in this blackity black existence. Despite my reality, he's explaining his reality. Black women hurt me the most. My mother didn't love me, but I can only date black women. And now I'm scratching my head, and I need to say B-Dub because the algorithm is fucking with me. But it's the perfect topic podcast. He said, I can only date the B-Dub. I don't even know why I give a fuck. I'm not monetized. Motherfuckers don't support. It would be different because I'm thinking about like people who I watch, but people donate to those channels. Those YouTubers have an incentive to, you know, to skirt the algorithm because they make money off their channel. I don't make money. All this shit I done bought, microphone, everything invest, I've never recouped. So it'd be hard for me to like skirt the algorithm and do things to adhere to the algorithm because it's not a reciprocal relationship. But Ali Sadiq is a great example of today. Let's get into our intro song, and then we're going to keep going. You know, Ali Sadiq, I seen him like 3-4 times live. And when he told those stories about, you know, losing his sister, you know, I've been through a lot of death. Those of us who grew up in the crack era, it was very difficult. So to hear him talk about growing up in the crack era, dealing with the loss, One of the domino effect, one of the specials is called loss. I think that's the part 2 I'm talking about. That's the most emotional. Growing up in that era is so much loss. People lost their fathers to their drugs. People lost their friends to violence. It was hard for us to get out of that, and for someone to come out of that successfully. And the wisdom that he has is that the person who hurt me most is the B-Dub. I think that's an eloquent way to start today's podcast. For you to go watch Domino Effect Part 2, for you to analyze Ali Sadiq, someone you may hold in high regard, because Ali Sadiq says he still will not date, despite his reality, he's not dating anyone but a B-Dub. That's some reflective stuff right there. So let's get into our intro. Y'all share the show. We're going to have a good show today, man. I promise. It's great discussion from an OG perspective, man. Happy 2025, man. It's the first Monday of 2025, man.
Why I got it for cheap? Now these niggas think I had a stain like bleach. 7 a.m. on the beach, studying flows. The ocean got hella to teach. I put a 6 on my beat. All of these fingers get numb from pinching my cheeks. I haven't slept in a week. I just been covered in blues. I feel like Mystique. I get my jewel on my he gave me a skeleton, I had to bust on the bones. Got 30 looks at the movies, the money was calling, I forgot to silence my phone. Got an invite to a show out in Paris, a nigga just downloaded Rosetta Stone. All I wrote down on my ride croissants, if they can provide them, I'll leave it alone. Meeting with Sony, I post on the gram, and a whole lot of rappers that digging my grandma. Charging them $200 a stanza, they pay at the pocket like Vic in Atlanta. Money been jumping, it's too much to handle. I call my accountant, we working in tandem. Used to get Metcalf for summer, last week I made double that. School cannot hold a candle. I'm up in Mama Tar with a shorty. I keep a Virgil on me like a 40. Couple of Cubans on me, they imported. They got my net froze, rigor mortis. I hit the breaststroke in the Benz. Swimming through South Beach with the fence. I just been going crazy with the pen, cause I don't get shit off the spins. YSL got it for cheap. Now all these niggas think I had a stain like bleach. 7 a.m. on the beach, studying flows. The ocean got hella to teach. I put a 6 on my beat. All of these fingers get numb from pinching my cheeks. I haven't slept in a week. I just been covered in blues. I feel like Mystique. Shorty, she down for whatever. I keep my flow under the weather. I'm cold when they come with the pressure, but diamonds all over the bezel. I can't even count them, too many to measure. Steering wheel light as a feathers, matching the shade of interior leather. Feeling more patient than ever, taking my time, enjoying the ride. I get there whenever. I'm in the booth when niggas are sleeping. Nike Tech hoodie, I'm reaping. Hellcat usually sound like a demon. Gave it a 4G's, not a bit creeping. I got 10 toes on the cement. I got 10 fingers on throat. The game in the choke. They hotbox the lab, they burning the oak. They took me to space, I don't even smoke. I hop in the Uber, I smell like a roach. Praying the shit'll come out of my clothes. Normally I wouldn't really be tweaking, but I spent a rack and a half on the coat. The berries burr, I really defer. Call Harry for fur, no pun intended. I pick up a pendant. The VVs are looking like ice in the blender. The quality splendid. YSL got it for cheap. Now all these niggas think I had a stain like bleach. 7 a.m. on the beach, studying flows. The ocean got hella to teach. I put a 6 on my beat. All of these fingers get numb from pinching my cheeks. I haven't slept in a week. I just been covered in blues. I feel like Mystique.
Black Sam. Michelin, man. Why I still got it for cheap. I just been covered in blues. I feel like Mystique. Ooh, I love that, right? That's that Black Sam, that bleach, man. Check that out, man. You know what I'm saying? Michelin, man. You know, I said, you know, y'all see my chef? I see my chef. I've been chefing it up. Yeah, check out my chef, man. Check out the community tab. That's what I need you to do. Check out the community tab. You're gonna see all of my cooking. Everything. We got some we fucking with that permanent marker. We fucking with that permanent marker and that GMO today. We on that yada. We on that yada yada. And we on that panacea. We on that yada yada. And we on that panacea. That's that GMO, garlic, mushrooms, and onions. That shit funky. Funky. It's getting funky. It's getting funky. Let's get right into the videos. I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Where have all the good men gone? Some people was asking a question, you know, this a follow-up. We ain't gonna hold you. Well, where have all the good men gone, man? Let's get some opinions, man. Let's get some opinions from the people. Some people want to ask some questions, man. So perfect timing podcast. Shall oblige, I will oblige, yeah.
Where do single men between the ages of 28 and 40 go on Saturday?
Get out of
Pull
here,
the lever.
Taffy.
Pull the lever.
Okay. I'm grabbing, pulling.
Yeah, I'm hanging on for dear life. Oh my gosh. I'm trapped. Pull the lever.
Where do single men between the ages of
Where have all the good men gone? A girl on TikTok went viral for asking this question, so please take a listen.
There is a serious shortage of attractive, eligible, mentally stable, emotionally available men. We need to get a search party together, figure out what has happened, where have they gone.
And at first, I agreed with this girl because men are less masculine than ever. Testosterone levels are plummeting. However, there's another side to this. A lot of women are allowing and encouraging men to treat them like trash, like this girl.
I just got home to 2 different floor arrangements from 2 different guys. Is either one of them from the guy that I slept with and told all my friends about? No.
So be honest with yourself. Are you really interested in the good men, or are you hooking up with the not so good men for temporary validation?
Woo! You know, I was watching the conversation. So I started this conversation last week, but I've been wanting to talk about it. But I heard some brothers on the Lapeef network, and this one brother named Clout. He kept iterating that, you know, it's dating. And it was a brother who went to a PWI who was refuting his statement because his statements were nonsensical, saying that all this shit, people are dating for fucking, right? It is true. Roger would say that. A lot of this is pussy driven. And that's what she's saying, but it seems to be dick driven also. So people are dating to have sex. But he was trying to diminish the need and the value of marriage. What was the brother name that left the internet, man? And I really like that brother. But he talked about the value of marriage also. And this brother from the PWI was telling Clout, actually, you're wrong. We actually still need 2 people in the household financially. So I know what the brother from the PWI, he was refuting his claims on statistical analysis and factual data. Like, to live in San Francisco, 114,000 is still low income. You can apply for food stamps in San Francisco making 6 figures. So all these people, all these BWs and all these women you see on these panels, they have no, like the brother said, the B-dub have no conceptuality of being broke or money for that matter. So when you say 100,000 where? This is why Kevin Samuels was so valuable. 100,000 where? Not 100,000 in San Francisco, not 100,000 in Silicon Valley. I was watching some partners the other day, a couple Mexican homies, and the Mexican brother was from San Pedro. And San Francisco is black and brown. We get along, you know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of respect for that community. I'm watching these brothers from San Pedro, and they having a conversation similar to the conversation we have in Oakland. A lot of people grow up in East Oakland or inner city of San Francisco, inherit a home. The movie The Last Black Man in San Francisco was similar to this. He said, I can't afford to live in San Pedro. And the brother who was doing the interview, the Latino brother, was saying, I live in Pearl Heights or some heights in LA. He said, my 2-bedroom house is worth $700,000. I can't afford to live in my neighborhood. When I lived in Oak Park, that was a situation. You know what I'm saying? So when you say we don't need marriage, where? Not in San Pedro, not in Los Angeles, not in California. If you live in California, not only do you need a 2-income household, a lot of them Latino brothers and sisters are not only married, but working multiple jobs. So I like that the brother started right there with Clout, that this is why You have so many women. We starting with the women's videos first. This is why you got so many women with this question. Where are the good men? Because it's a necessity. They're not asking because they desperately want men. No. I hope y'all not thinking like, no, women want us. Hold on. No, that's not it. It's not about them like in love and thrall with men. It's about them living in areas like Atlanta, in Miami and Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Drake, right? Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Ain't that Drake coined that term? Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. If you're living and you want to have the lifestyle you see on TV, yeah, you gonna need 2 incomes, and maybe more than just 2. Right? A lot of people got more than 2 incomes in these places. That's something we don't talk about. So I love how he started right there, that you're wrong in today's age that you don't need the couple, because he was trying to make this comparison, but Cloud couldn't even make the argument properly that we couple in the past because of population. That was incorrect. We didn't couple in the past because of population. Population was an issue. You couple, and our grandmothers had 14 kids because it was a necessity for survival, for protection, and for cultivating the land. If you recall in Color Purple, you know what I'm saying? You needed male children to cultivate the land, to plow the field. You needed a multitude of children to take care of the land, to keep the land, to amass land. It was about what Kanye West say at the top. It's 1,000-year-old families. So before it was important the size of your family. The size of your family meant power, money, and wealth. The Rothschilds, they're not only wealthy, they're a large family. You got, this is the thing that's this is what we missing, man. When you talk about, when people point out these families, when people like to get on here and talk like they're intelligent, one thing that's left out is that these are large families. Part of the power is the size of the family. It's the fact that the family is large, that the head of the family knew that the family needed to be large to be powerful, but unified. If we have multiple heads, it's almost impossible to knock us off. Do you know we don't know the first name? We just know Rothschild. We just know Ford. We just know the last names. And they did it like that on purpose, and there's so many of them. It was a Bush governor, a Bush daddy, a Bush son, a Bush here, a Bush there. Can I get a Bush anywhere? That's how these families are large. Diversify. You take out one, that don't matter. We still got more over here. We got like what's the brother, the Mormon dude who ran for president, whose brother was in Mexico like a king. This is how they do these families, these powerful families. You know one entity of the family in America, but you know what they do? They branch out globally. And just like Hot Sauce got a business in China, they be having businesses in other countries. Remember I told you about Dole when we talked about Hawaii? These families, part of the mystique is not just the money and the power, it's the size. And if they keep you single, if they keep you hating your men, and they keep brothers on TV talking about fuck marriage is a bad deal, then people like us, FBA, ADOS, we never build family. Without marriage, you don't have, there's so many complexities to this. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We're going to keep going with the videos. Where have all the good men gone? I just had to interrupt right there. And I'm going to be doing that periodically throughout the show. Make sure you share the show. You know what I'm saying? Drop a like when y'all slide through.
Where have all the good men gone? A girl on TikTok went viral for asking this question, so please take a listen.
There is a serious shortage of attractive, eligible, mentally stable, emotionally available men. We need to get a search party together, figure out what has happened, where have they gone.
And at first, I agreed with this girl because men are less masculine than ever. Testosterone levels are plummeting.
You know what was ill about the first part of what she said is the mental health aspect. Wow. Look, this is what, remember what Sauce Walker said just a couple days ago? Sauce Walker just a couple days ago went viral for saying, how you going to be affected by someone who doesn't even like themselves? One of the most important things we talk to men about here is understanding the God within self, understanding you know, strong mind, sound body, and a sound heart, right? And I'm not talking sonically when I say a sound mind, when I say a sound heart. Sauce Walker said, you don't even got your real hair, your real eyes, your real lips. You are not even happy with the person you look at in the mirror every day. How can you criticize me? She starts off with a mental health critique as a complete fake individual. She looks like an avatar, complete beat face, complete hair done. Think about what I'm saying. This is the delusion of our society when it comes to the dilemma that men face. That she's critiquing men's mental health while being the most fragile individual on the planet. You couldn't even do the video without your face beat, without your hair done, without a perfect outfit, and you want to go at mental health first. That was a mistake, because all we're seeing is identity problems when we look at you. You don't even love yourself. Before you could make this video, you had to be fully beat. You couldn't even make the video as you. And we talk about a mental health crisis. This is the perversion. You couldn't even make the video as you. You come up with fake hair, fake eyelashes, makeup, and you're critiquing the mental health of the individual that you hopefully want to date. Let's listen to this part again. This part is very revealing to me. You're critiquing men's mental health while everything about you is fake. Both of them. Look, her too. Makeup, lipstick, outfit, hair. If you guys got a girlfriend or a woman, then you know all of this is purposely done. The way her hair is lying, the hair color, everything.
Listen.
There is a serious shortage of attractive, eligible, mentally stable, emotional.
Attractive. Got to be attractive, eligible, emotionally stable. This is her list. Look at her.
Available men. We need to get a search party together. Figure out what has happened, where have they gone.
And at first,
And this is the thing, she wants a search party. She's like, where are they? They not looking for you, baby girl. That's what it is. They ain't went nowhere. They're not looking for you with the fake eyes, the fake lips, the makeup, the fake hair, who can't identify her own arrested development and mental health crisis, pointing a finger at somebody. If there is a reason good men are running from you. There is a reason. You might say she's attractive. There is a reason she can't find a good man. And that's what today's show is about. There is a reason.
Where did all the good men go?
Oh, they're at work or in their car commuting to work. They might be on their lunch from work or they're sleeping from doing so much work. Finally, they could be trapped in the nothing box and staring off blankly into the distance as a subconscious distraction from the perilous dread of work. The average man will spend at least 1/3 of his life at work. See, we as a society, majoritively, about 3/4 of us, in fact, are still telling men that in order to be valued, they should be able to provide for an entire family on their own, despite the fact that 7 out of 10 wives now earn as much or more than their husbands. So to answer the question, where are the good men with facts? They're spending most of their time burning themselves down at both ends, desperately trying to please people who don't actually need their money as much as they say they do.
Church, tabernacle, run it back, run it back.
Where did all the good men go?
Oh, they're at work or in their car commuting to work. They might be on their lunch from work, or they're sleeping from doing so much work. Finally, they could be trapped in the nothing box and staring off blankly into the distance as a subconscious distraction from the perilous dread of work.
But everybody said it was okay for Travis Hunter to buy his mama and brothers and stepdaddy a house. He is assuming the responsibility of another man and another man's work. It's always okay for you to work. What was I looking at? Oh, this is a perfect segue. I'm going to go back to more videos. This is a perfect segue. Where are men? This is a perfect segue. At work, getting money, trying to please somebody who don't really like them and don't need their money as much as they put on. Now, check this out. Check this out. To that effect, the game of hip hop and 50 Cent fame, love and hip hop, all the shit, had a question. As I did my research today, I felt like this question is going viral, and it would be a great thing for us to deal with in today's show, because I feel like it relates directly to today's topic and answers the question, especially as it relates to the video that we just saw. Y'all share the show, man. Hit the like button as y'all come in, man. How long we been live, man? Don't fret. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. Don't fret. We ain't done yet. Y'all hit the like button, man. Share the show, man. We in the building, man. Perfect Time Podcast with the blast on their ass real fast, and the dad 2025 won't last. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's your boy, man. It's your boy. Tap in, man. Back at it like a crack at it. Built from tragedy, made from static. It's your boy, Perfect Time Podcast with the blast on the dash, real fast, sharing the show. 25 won't last, so we gonna get it in, man. Yeah, man, share the show, man. Let everybody know, man. Let everybody know. Share the show, because YouTube and the algorithm and the other brothers are some hoes, man. So we got to do what you know, man. We got to do our own thing, man. So we're going to share the show, do our own thing, man. The question is on the screen. I'm going to address it in a second, man. I'm going to address it. Y'all go ahead and read the question. Y'all go ahead. Y'all can address it in the chat. Like my brother Kenzie and Red, he came through and dropped off his comment like some dirty draws, man. As y'all slide through the chat, man, as y'all slide through the podcast, man, feel free, man. Go ahead and hit the like button, man. That's what you should do, man. Hit the like button and hit the share. Tap in one time, man. All right, let's get back to the content one time, man. All right, y'all see the question up here. So we talking about where have all the good men gone? And a very intelligent young lady just said that men are at work. She put up a graph, a Venn diagram showing statistically how many hours men work throughout their life in comparison to women. So the game had a question, and it went viral. He said, if you give a man the cootie cat and he gives you the changalang, you both have made an even exchange. Do everybody accept that? I agree with that. So after that, he's supposed to support you financially to keep you. Now think about what the video just said. Where are men? She said at work. She showed a statistical analysis. Now when Kevin Samuels would talk about this, he would say, who does most of the electricians? Who are most of the engineers? Who are most of the... He would go down a litany of lists that if these men were not at work, you would not be able to live the comfortable life that you live. So it ain't just that men are at work. It's what men are doing, that women have an opportunity to do that. Without men, they don't have this comfortable life to sit there with that beautiful face and those rosy cheeks and say, where are men? So the game says, okay, so after that, I'm supposed to like protect and provide. We all know that, right? Just like what's the brother says, shame, blame, and explain, right? Protect and provide. We all know these are all tropes, I believe. So after that, I'm supposed to support you financially to keep you. And he says 2 question mark. He's saying that's correct, right? That's what people assume. And if he does, what do you do to even the scale at that point, asking for the male species. So when we say, where have all the good men gone? This is what men are asking. Now, you can agree or disagree, but what he is saying is, if I have to work a third of my life, more hours, if I have to do the most dangerous jobs, the dirty jobs, right? Y'all remember the TV show, the get in the sewage, the pipes, the building the bridges. Right now, they are retrofitting every highway. How many women have y'all seen on the side of the road? No BS. Biden put out $1 billion. So all of my watchers and listeners, no matter where you are in the United States, you could be in California, you could be in Texas, you could be in Georgia. You are seeing your roads being redone. Why? That's the Biden bill. That's why it's happening across the nation, right? How many women out there in the rain, in the snow, rebuilding roads right now so they can go to the mall? Huh? So they can go get their nails done. He's asking the question, what do we get in return? As you guys ask, where have all the good men gone? This is the question right here. We're answering you with the question. What do we get in exchange? If this is the Disney proposition, right? This is the Disney order. I gotta pay to get the cootie cat. And to keep the cootie cat, I gotta pay it and I gotta provide and protect it, according to Disney. So if I do that for the rest of my life, that's what they want from you. They want your life. Now thank you to that beautiful snow white sister, that beautiful snow bunny. Who brought up the data? Y'all we could jump back and forth, man. That's why I love this YouTube shit, man. We could jump back and forth. Let's jump back and forth to the beautiful snow bunny who had the data, man. Let's go to the beautiful snow bunny with the data, man, real quick. Then we're going to go back to the game because I want y'all to see the comment section, right? So this the beautiful snow bunny with the data,
Every
man.
man will spend at least 1/3 of his life at work. See, we as a society, majoritively, about 3/4 of us, in fact, are still telling.
There go the data right there. That's the data right there. Look how the majority of your life you spent working, fulfilling the question and equation that the game just had. This is data. Now, we having fun today. You know what I'm saying? This is Black Manosphere. We're going to have a good time, chop it up and have a good time. But this is a serious topic. That's why, and you might want to say, where have they gone? A lot of them is with Becky. Hey, Becky, how you doing there, Becky? Hey, that's a nice little snow bunny looking right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Where have all the good men gone? I think they might be hanging out with individuals who understand their value. You understand what I mean? So let's go back to the game, man. Let what did Becky say, man? Let's let Miss Basic Snow Bunny, and she looking beautiful too. She didn't come up on here nappy headed, man. She got her makeup on and her hair done too. You know what I'm saying? You know, her fake eyelashes and her lipstick. You know what I'm saying? I dated in the 90s, man. So natural beauty, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't always. I remember a time where individuals who wore makeup and wore a lot of makeup were seen as promiscuous. It may be okay to wear makeup like on your prom night, but I'll be honest, when I was in high school, the girls who wore makeup all the time were looked at a certain way, not just by men and the boys, but the women also. What I want to say, sanctity, that naivete, that is all gone now.
Telling men that in order to be valued, they should be able to provide for an entire family on their own, despite the fact that 7 out of 10 wives now earn as much or more than their husbands. So to answer the question, where are the good men with facts? They're spending most of their time burning themselves down at both ends, desperately trying to please people who don't actually need their money as much as they say they do.
Right? Who don't actually need their money as much as they say they do. So let's see what the rebuttal was to the game's question. I wonder what's driving. I guess they said the game had a brand new baby You know, I don't know. He out here having babies still. You know what I'm saying? Me and him the same. They say he 50-year-old man having baby. So the game, to reiterate, he says, if you give a man the cootie cat and he gives you the Chamberlin, you both have even exchange. So after that, he's supposed to support you financially to keep you. And if he does, if he chooses that route, what do you do to even the scale at that point? Asking for the male species. Could anybody answer that question before we go to the comment section? Does anybody want to take an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to answer, what do I get? That's the perspective of a lot of men on YouTube, right? Like, you hear a lot of men on YouTube saying it's a bad deal. Marriage is a bad deal, right? And to further, to you could even compound the game's you could compound the game's introspective question, because furthermore, if the woman chooses to leave said scenario that the game put forth, you could possibly lose half of everything that you have, including all of any progeny that was produced from the relationship. Just to further complicate things, right? It's not just the fact that you're being asked to continually to provide and protect. The Snow Bunny showed us that graph, but what was left out a lot of times, as discussed in the Black Manosphere, is the fact that if this said scenario, if the man does all of that game, you are asking what is reciprocal for the male species. Well, beyond that, if he does all of that and it isn't successful, meaning if he pays for her, buys her a house, buys her new tits, takes her to DR, gets her a new ass, pays for her children to go to college, and then she up and after 15 years says she don't want to be there, or like Tyrese, gives him a baby and she turns around and says, I don't want to be there anymore. She can take the baby and leave the marriage, leave the agreement that game put forth, because Tyrese did this game. Tyrese bought in hook, line, and sinker. And not only did he provide for her, bought her a house, woman, got a car, and a baby. When she left, she took everything and the baby. So that part, I think game left out. When we ask, where have the good man gone? As we look at the actual equation. Now remember, I'm a fan of marriage. I'm a fan of marriage. And this is how I'm breaking it down. It's the Black Manosphere. I'm on the side of marriage, but I got to be honest. As we talk about today, you know what I'm saying, where have the good men gone? I don't think this is an advertisement against marriage. I think this is just more information on how to choose. That's what the brother who left YouTube, that's what he was saying. Like, why don't we never talk about the way to successfully couple? Because the game, I think, like a lot of men, this is the part that's hidden in this. What's hidden in what game is saying is that most men, I don't know if it's fair to call us simps. I don't know if it's because we're in a Western Disney society, but most men want to be married in a house with, just like a lion on a pride, the Lion King. Most men want to be Mufasa. That's a lot of men. They want to be in their home, their kingdom, their dwelling. That's our Disney. And Disney, so you got Disney, the princesses, the Disney princesses, right? And the queen and all that fairy tale nonsense bullshit. But what is the God? America never addresses the ceremony, the pageantry, the indoctrination that men go through here. So we see ourselves as kings. We're watching the Disney movie too. We're little kids. We seeing the Beauty and the Beast too. We seeing the Prince and the Frog too. We see ourselves in the Prince and the King, like you see yourselves in the princess. And we want our princess. Number one, we want to rescue the princess. We want to provide for the princess. The game is saying, if we do this, what do we get? So men want to be kings. This is why Game is asking this. He just had a baby. He's tried before to be in a successful marriage. He's not asking this because he doesn't want to do it. I think that should be obvious. The Game is not asking this because he doesn't want to do it. That's why he just had a baby. He's trying to understand something. He probably spent his whole life gang banging, understanding other things, right? Making money, being a rapper. It's like Jeezy now going to therapy late in life after he got divorced. Jeezy's going to therapy after divorce because he was unsuccessful at marriage. You know what I'm saying? I got hella respect for Jeezy going to therapy after the divorce because he wanted to understand why I've been successful in life, making millions of dollars. I conquered the game. I could have went to prison. I could have went to the feds. I stayed away from the dummies. I'm able to do a lot. Like, that's why Jeezy kept showing those pictures. I'm a high value man. I have a circle of high value men who respect me. Like, I only deal with trustworthy men who are making good money out here taking care of their families. That's the type of guy I am. I'm a stand-up dude. Why couldn't I be successful in this marriage? Jeezy told a story of being at home crying in the bed. He said, I should have been happy. But now he's in therapy because, like a lot of us, he want to be a king. He want to be successful. He want to understand why he wasn't successful in marriage. The Game is seeking the same thing. A lot of men, that's why I'm doing this show today, because men truly want to be married. When I be talking about a lot of this stuff, the reason why the Black Manosphere exists, because a lot of young men like Travis Hunter, they go into their first marriage. They go into their first love. They want to be married forever, bro. They don't want to get divorced. That's why I always caution young men, talk to her and ask her, does she believe in divorce? Find out if her mother's been divorced. Find out if her mother and grandmother believe in divorce. If hopefully you want to find a woman whose mother and father are married, she was raised by a two-parent household, and she believes in marriage, and they don't believe in divorce. I know that sounds kind of foreign, but there are women who are raised culturally, religiously, ethnically, and to not believe in divorce. You're going to have to qualify for that woman. You're probably going to have to, meet her father's certain standards, but that is a thing. So I believe the Game is asking this question because he wants to know, because he wants to be successfully coupled. I believe he wants to be successfully coupled. So he wants to know, what does he get in exchange? Anybody want to put in the chat? Let's go to the comment section and see what this is the powerful part of it. So that's the question, right? An introspective question, right? Especially on like I said earlier, on relationships within our community, right? On FBA, I think this is unique to FBA. This type of elementary, low vibrational. I think this is part of why we're not successful in relationships, because this is very low vibrational, right? To be successful in coupling in relationships, this is what the brother would say. You need to be connected, and me and Hot Sauce would say this. You need to be compatible spiritually, financially, ethnically. These are things that are going to help you successfully couple, right? Beyond this elementary level of how much money do you make. That's what you hear on every podcast and every balloon pop. You know what I'm saying? I think that's unique to our FBA ADOS community when we talk about when we are fixated, this arrested development. And this is the thing that's so hurtful, that other communities looking at us. When we focus on how much a man makes, you know what that really is? I had to talk to Mrs. Perfect Timing about this. It's illuminating our lack. Shout out to Love Dorsey. When the B-Dub goes on every panel and they laugh about it, when the B-Dub lets every other woman you're competing against to get a black man know that your primary focus is how much money he makes, It's almost insulting to our collective, because it's letting everybody know what frequency and how low the frequency is of that individual. They only care about the money, which is why they end up with individuals who may be physically violent, emotionally unavailable. What did she say? She said, where are the emotionally intelligent, emotionally available, and physically available good men? She's probably dating wealthy men, you guys. It's a beautiful woman, right? She's probably dating wealthy men. She didn't say, where are the rich men, though. She's not, this is the thing where all the good men, do you really want a good man or do you want a rich man? Because when we talk to you on the panel, the first thing comes out your mouth is how much money do you make? But then when we have this question and have all this upheaval, is where are all the good men and mentally healthy men, emotionally available men, emotionally healthy men, emotionally stable men? Where are all those men? Right? I thought you wanted a man who make $200,000 and $300,000 a year. That pretty girl is dating wealthy men. The men that all of these overweight Buffalo girls, all these overweight wig-wearing Buffalo girls with a BBL, they keep saying they want a wealthy man. Well, that pretty girl probably dates those wealthy men. And she's still not married. So she's no longer saying where are the good men, because she's thin, she's fit, she's pretty, she's dating wealthy men, but she doesn't want a wealthy man, because what she's realizing is the wealthy man, and this is what Kevin Samuels would say night after night after night. When you hear Melissa Ford, and Melissa Ford tells a story about a basketball player, and they keep getting played by these square-ass basketball players. When Melissa Ford tells a story about the basketball player knocking her socks off for 6 months, and then she goes away, and he put down a cold iceberg slim pimp move on her and tell her, bitch, why would I want to date you? And hang up in her face. And then send her flowers. And she started crying. She fell deeper in love. So this was some of the comments that he's too old for this. Go burp the newborn baby, sir. No answer. Snide comment and a put down. Go help that girl with the baby and hush. Hit different wrote. No chill DZ wrote. Y'all not tired of this conversation? Amaya wrote. N-word, we leaving the game in 2024 because we don't need this energy. Prettiest yet. That's the social media name. Prettiest yet wrote, all I heard was a man doesn't want to be a man anymore. Wow. Pretty as Yet wrote, all I heard was a man doesn't want to be a man anymore. We got two perspectives on this work. One perspective from the Snow Bunny about how much men work and where good men are at work. Kevin Samuels talked about the men who at work and what jobs they do. The game asking the question, if I pay for the cootie cat and then I want to marry and keep the cootie cat and I agree to a premise that I will continually pay. I paid for the cootie cat the first time, but I want to keep the cootie cat, so I agree to the Disney premise that I'm going to pay for the cootie cat for the rest of my life. He said, if I agree to do that, because he's contemplating it. He wants to get married. He just had a baby. I know he wants to be, men, especially late in life, just like women, he wants this successful coupling. Just like Jeezy going to therapy, he wants to be successfully married. So he's asking this question. Because I think growing up in the inner city in a single parent household, he doesn't truly know. This is what angry men be trying to teach when we say your mother don't love you. You can't find a woman who loves you because you can't identify love because you wasn't loved by your mother. Like, he wants to know, honestly, what do I get? And what is the reply here? A man don't want to be a man. Because I do not adhere to the Western Disney definition of marriage and love, the reply from the end user, prettiest yet, is that a man doesn't want to be a man. Now, but the Snow Bunny said, all the men are at work. And the reply from prettiest yet to the question of, should I work the 1/3 that the graph that the Snow Bunny showed? The Snow Bunny showed a graph, statistical analysis and data of how much men work in comparison to other people. Men are working most of their lives compared to women. Game is asking, if I agree to work my whole life for this woman, what do I get in return? And the reply is, all I hear is a man don't want to be a man. All I hear. And I see it on panels. How many people who slide through YouTube see these panels, the Lapeef panel, the Antoine Daniels panel, and you see non-interested B-dubs. I mean, I see so many B-dubs trying so hard to look non-interested. Single, lonely cat women. I mean, everything about their background, their profile name, everything say single cat woman, and they try so hard on these panels to look so unimpressed, and they be falling asleep, fake falling asleep, fake uninterested. All I hear is what you want to hear. On so many of these panels, I just see B-dubs looking up in the sky, looking down, rolling their eyes, not paying attention to the conversation, just waiting for their comment to assassinate the black man's character. And I just be watching the panelists, and I watch the host. And I'm like, you watching this B-dub pretend to be asleep, yawning, acting uninterested. Where have all the good men gone? The reply from prettiest yet is, all I see is someone who doesn't want to be a man. What's the next comment? Glam Star wrote, dude, you're almost 50. Why are we continuing to have this unproductive conversation in 2025? Go change a diaper and hush. Can't make this up. To these commenters, this is an unproductive conversation. All the things Game could be saying. Game normally is saying some off the wall, outlandish. He going at some rapper. He's saying something stupid. He's having a child. He's having this introspective moment. He's probably looking at Jeezy's therapy sessions, and he's asking himself, should I marry this woman So he's going to the internet like a lot of people do, bearing his soul, and he's asking the internet because it's probably and he's probably thinking there's some intelligent people who may DM him back. He know he's gonna get some negative comments, but maybe Umar Johnson or somebody, you know, intelligent will DM him and give him the knowledge because he grew up in a single parent home. What benefits is it if I choose to marry this girl who just had my baby? Because the way I'm seeing it right now, Dr. Umar, is that I'm gonna pay for the rest of my life for this woman. She ain't gonna have to work. Why should I do that? What do I get in return? And you hear a lot of panels in the Black manosphere presenting that same ultimatum to a lot of Black men, especially a lot of successful Black men. And this is and part of the problem is that it's come to this where men are asking this question. Part of today's problem is it come to this point where men are now so frustrated with what they've seen and experienced that they're asking this question, what do I get? I think this is paraphrasing. I know Angry Man talked about what do I bring to the table and his initial meanings, but as far as the colloquial meaning of what do you bring to the table, I believe the game's question is his best interpretation of that. I have the ability as a multimillionaire to take care of this woman for the rest of her life and these children financially. Why should I marry her? What do I get? You may ask yourself, why is he contemplating this now? Instead of saying all these harsh comments in the like why so late in life? Because this is what men do, right? This is what we do. This is how you get stoicism and the contemplations of Freud and reflections, right? Men contemplate. This is not to put game down. He's contemplating the rest of his life. Should he get married? This time, should I get married? And if I do, why? This is a great topic really for the Black manosphere. So we got a lot of men out here who articulate why you shouldn't get married. But damn, what's that brother name, man? I forget his name. But not enough brothers articulate why you should get married. So that was Glam Star. The next person is Low Key. Low Key wrote, if y'all would stop messing with little girls, wow, then you wouldn't have to keep circling back to this conversation. Wow. Wow. That's helpful. Wow. That's the interpretation of this question. And this is what people promote too. And then it says, Miss Deneb wrote, he's out again hallucinating that he's 25 and not 45. Wow. I don't even know how to interpret these comments, but it's so poignant and relevant to today's conversation of where are the good men going, because they are running away from these individuals. That is where the good men are. Lastly, In Your Dreams wrote, men used to go to war. Now they cry online about taking care of women they choose. That is some cold shit right there. Because men are still dying in war. I remember Trump just the other day talking about the Ukraine and that it's more carnage than in World War II. And during the Obama administration, we were in 2 wars, Iraq and Afghanistan. I remember at the end, and this is one of the things I talked about when I first came to internet, that a lot of people didn't talk about when we talked about the global economics and things of that nature. Said we were in 2 wars. You know, Trump also was talking about that when he talked about Ukraine, about how Biden left Afghanistan. We were in 2 wars at the same time. So when they say This comment just to be hurtful to men. And it's so, but you go so far out of your way to be hurtful to men, it becomes unpatriotic, patriotic. And that happens a lot. Where these conversations become un-American and start to be on a low level, dehumanizing level. Like if you listen to some of these comments, it's almost dehumanizing how the value and that they assign to men is almost akin to a dog or a donkey. When she says, all I hear is a man don't want to be a man, what I'm hearing is you want a man to be a donkey. And everybody in the comment section seems to be like, you should accept your role as a donkey. And I see that on cartoons. Every father now is a buffoon. Oh, time is it? I'm over. Every father is a buffoon. You see this a lot on every TV. It's not that they want you to be a man, it's that they want you to be a servant. Men used to go to war, now they cry online about taking care of women. It's like you've been relegated to a subservient role. You once held this esteemed position as father and husband in the patriarchy. Now this position has become this Al Bundy thing. It's become this Al Bundy thing that you just are a provider and shut up, dad. Shut up, dad. Go to work all of your life. This is the question that game is asking. Go to work all of your life and stay in your corner in your man cave and shut up, dad. And dad is so stupid and dad doesn't know how to do anything but pay the bills, buy your food, pay for your rent, love and respect your mother. And every TV show, every father is inept. And everything but protecting and providing for the family. But they can't do nothing else. They can't work a computer. They can't do nothing. All they could do is go to work. It's this thing that keep driving in the man every sitcom. Every time there's something intelligent, every time there's a need that needs to be met outside of going to work, the woman figures it out. The woman has to use her brain, her ingenuity, and all the while making fun of the stupid man, the stupid donkey. Go to work, donkey. No sex for you, donkey, in every sitcom. No, you sleep on the couch. Why? Because you wouldn't give me sex and I had sex with somebody else. So even in the sitcom, I'm in the doghouse. But I'm still working. In every sitcom, I'm still working. And all of the fathers, all of the goofy fathers on television in 2024 and 5 still work, but don't have access to the poot nanny. Have y'all noticed that? The game, the one thing about the game question is the game is assuming that he's still gonna have access to the cootie cat that he purchased. And now, don't forget, I'm for marriage, but I'm just making these points. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know, he's still assuming. Think about those. I know he's wondering now after those comments. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking that he's still gonna have access to the cootie cat. I bought it. Right? So I still gonna have access to the cootie cat, right? You may not even have access to it. All of the guys who take on, that's why I wouldn't advise this form of marriage. When we talk about marriage, this equation game is presenting is not the proper equation. This is not patriarchal. This is not biblically based. Come on now. These are the flaws with game's premise. It's not patriot, but that's like a lot of men interpret this thing to be. They see it from this Disney aspect. So if you come in that marriage from this Disney knowledge of it, right? From this elementary Disney knowledge of marriage, if you weren't raised in the church, if you weren't Biblically trained about marriage, come on now. And so if you come at it from a novice level, from a Disney level, you're getting played, bro. You're getting played. That's the first thing you need to understand, that when we talk about these 1,000-year-old families, when we talk about the Rothschilds, what you should know about marriage and family, his seed, marry his seed, marry his seed. That's how we keep Wu-Tang money in a family. It's a way to do it. It's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And why are you doing it? Going back to Color Purple, why are you doing it? Why are you marrying off Sealy? He had a necessity. That's part of the reason why we had children back then, was not for population, was out of necessity. He could marry off his women. You could have a dowry. You could basically sell your daughters, and your sons would plow your field for you. Because you can't plow the field for yourself for the rest of your life. So you need to inculcate power by having multiple children, because they might get sick, they might die. We don't have hospitals. It wasn't about population. It was about being able to grow this population by being able to farm the land and protect the land. That's why you had so many people on the farm. You had so many kids because we had farms. It wasn't about population. You had so many kids because you had farms, and you didn't have Safeways, Clout. You didn't have Safeways. You didn't have cars. So you have 14 kids because you had to make your own food. It wasn't about population. You have 14 kids. Your grandmama, your great-grandmama had 14 kids because they had to make their own food and protect the land. Cultivate and protect. Everything was about land and family. As you drove through the South, you knew where you were because you were on certain individuals' land. Certain people had bigger land, so much land that it became a town or a city. It's a right way to do the family thing. It's a right way to do the marriage thing. If you're looking at it from the Disney eyes of Western society, you're going to fail. Because I believe the Disney form of marriage that the game is presenting in this question was designed to fail. I believe it's designed for divorce. Who would stay in this? I agree with all of the men online who say, I don't want this, I don't want this. But that's not what God provides. That's not the option that God has provided for you when he's providing you a godly woman. That's not what it's about. This Disney definition of marriage and coupling. But that's the mistake you make. And you already had a baby by this woman. Before you had a baby by her, these are the questions you talk to her father about. What do you get? Remember on the Roger Report. What do you get? Remember on the Roger Report. Remember in life. We could go, let's go to Roger Report. And then we're going to go to the Trump daughter. In the Roger Report game, there was a brother who said he married a woman because he worked for her father. The father owned the company. Black man married a black woman. The black woman he married, father owned the company that he worked for. He said that the father wrote in his will that his son-in-law gets the company. I'm gonna say it again. Who remember that episode? I know I'm listening, been here with me, and he remember that episode. He said the father wrote in the will. If you're doing Disney marriage, yeah, Disney marriage is designed for you to get divorced. Disney marriage is designed for the lawyers to benefit. Why you think divorce lawyers exist? Divorce lawyers exist waiting for you to get divorced. They would not be going to school, spending all that money to get a law degree and be a divorce attorney. Shout out to the lead attorney. If you were not going to if there were not guaranteed for clients. Who are the clients? Think about how sinister that is. How much did you go to school to be a lawyer, lead attorney, to do family law? Lead attorney don't have no clients if we ain't divorced, if we ain't dysfunctional, if we don't want to take the kids from each other. How does he know we want to take the kids from each other? How do they know that we want to get divorced? Because of this Disney premise. This Disney premise that the game puts forth. Anybody that accepts this deal, you don't stand in for long, bro. Anybody that accept this Disney deal, this Western society, this is why people who are not part of the Western society come to America and they get divorced. I know a lot of people in healthcare, a lot of my Indian, Pakistani partners, they be single, bro, because they come here and they part of a patriarchal tradition in their country, and they come here with their patriarchal wife who's been raised not by them. Think about this. The Indian dudes, the Chinese dudes that you be seeing get divorced in tech, that be going through all type of hard shit. I see it all the time. They didn't raise that woman to be patriarchal. They just benefited from the culture that they came from. They came from Pakistan. They came from Yemen. They came from Afghanistan. They came into America to work tech. They made enough money to bring their family over here, bro. And a lot of them be losing their family. They women get here and want to get divorced because it's not patriarchal in America. You know what I see a lot? I see a lot of women with hijabs. I said to Miss Pertami, I said, we need to open up a driving school. I see so many of these women learning how to drive. I'm like, it's cars over there. It's cars. They make hella cars. It's cars over here. Why is that business booming? Anybody got immigrants? Where you at? Anybody notice the immigrants? The women all learning how to drive, getting driver's license, but they didn't drive where they from. Think about that. I see a ton of them. First, I told you the immigrants take over my park at night. It's like 100 of them, but this is like in a lot of neighborhoods. We don't talk about how many immigrants be in the neighborhoods. And they don't really talk. They stay to themselves. They're not really in American society, but it's over 100. Over 100 immigrants. And what I see is a whole new market to make money, and that's driving school. Because all of the immigrant women, they got money, so we talking about the people on the TV that we mad at for getting all the money, right? What they doing with the money? Well, a lot of them is learning how to drive, buying cars, fucking up the road, man. Fucking up the road, bro. They come here and they women, they want the Disney package and they getting divorced. They're getting divorced right and left. It starts off with you condoning and saying, okay, what's the big deal with her driving the car? Now, I might have wanted her to drive a car when Dennis, I might have wanted her to drive when we was in Yemen, but the culture wouldn't allow it. If she would got pulled over and I wasn't with her, the police might have did something to her. Young people might have did something to her. So it ain't even the fact that I did not want her to drive. Culturally, it wasn't even cool for her to drive. Think about that. In a real patriarchy, women are not driving. It ain't because you tell her you can't drive. She not driving because it ain't safe. It's not safe for a woman to drive in our culture. So in America, I never really had a problem with her driving. So now that we in America, I don't mind that she drive, Dennis. I'm not going to trip. It's matriarchy in America. I don't mind that you let your wife drive. We live in America now. But I notice it. I notice it. And I know that's a start. That's how they end up getting divorced. They don't even realize that they moved to America for the American dream, and part of it is a matriarchy. That where you were, I never had to tell her not to drive, not to talk, not to walk behind me. She did these things because her father raised her that way, and that the culture and the society, it behooved her to behave that way. They had a thing in Afghanistan where they were throwing acid in divorced women's faces. They were living on the side of the road. You can get arrested for being divorced. So the culture behooved women to behave a certain way. A husband don't even got to do nothing. I just got to be a man. In certain countries, it's not this Disney proposition of what I get. In certain countries, game, you get everything. My friend, My colleague I worked at the hospital with in tech, when he got married, because he graduated from Chicago, because he made over 6 figures, there were fathers of the same ethnic background that was going to pay, they're going to pay for the wedding. Remember, the father of the bride pays for the, that still happens, gang. That still happens. When you see them with their 24 karat gold at Sharif Jewelers, they specialize in this jewelry. The game, I know you from the Bay Area and from LA. I know you got partners like, we got partners, man. They own the weed clubs. When they get married, you probably been to one of these weddings. I've been to the weddings. It's hella fun. They throw a big ass party. They love black people. They accepting the black people. They got the weed clubs. We do business with each other. What they do when they get married, they got the, why, ask game, ask them. Your partner who own the weed club. Why do you get married? That's, ooh, perfect, you cooking. They got the 24 karat gold. They got the 24 karat gold when they get married. Why they do all of that? That costs a lot of money. My brother, he broke down how much money the father of the bride was going, they were going to get married twice. The game is asking, what do I get? I told you on the Roger report, the brother said when he married this girl, the father put in the will, he gets the company. And oh, I'm listening, whoever listening. And he said, if she divorced me, she don't get nothing. That's in the will. In the father's will. This how the Indians work. This was some Africans. This not Disney. This not matriarchal. The son-in-law gets the company. If the daughter turn into a hoe and divorce the son-in-law, she don't get shit. This is an incentive for his daughter to not be American, to not get divorced, to not be Americanized, to not fuck up the family, the Rothschilds, to not fuck up the business. If you divorce this man that I've chosen to be your husband, you don't get shit. When my partner got married, the father paid for the wedding. They got married in Chicago, and they got married over there. And he got a dowry, he got paid. His dad made the deal. His dad negotiating with the other dad. Because my boy was a college graduate doing his thing, it was like 7 or 8 fathers with 7 or 8 bad bitches trying to get their virgin daughter to marry his son. This is today what goes on, gang. This is what I say about Fresh and Fit. That's why I say I don't like Fresh and Fit, because the reality is, if he goes home to his mother and father, what's his name, Myron, and he says to his mother and father, I'm done running the streets. I want to marry a good girl. His father will go talk to the network of men, saying, I have a son who's a millionaire. He wants to marry a good woman. And then 5 or 6 men will come forward with young virgin wives. And he will get to pick. And he can marry that woman and stay married to that woman for the rest of his life. We don't have access to do that. When Myron says, I'm black, and he uses the N-word, he doesn't understand the game and the history of slavery, how the Willie Lynch letter led to us not understanding the benefits of marriage, not utilizing marriage for the proper reason, and not understanding how it's used, like the Africans and like the Indians. Why? This is why we having this discussion, because we don't understand the tool that marriage is. That father understood marriage as a tool, similar to the Rothschilds. I create $1 million business. I can't run this business forever. The first Rothschild knew that. That's why he created the life insurance. So what that father did to inculcate power is the marriage is a business contract. He had his daughter marry a man he picked to design to keep his legacy going. He created that business. This young man would be dedicated not only to his daughter, that's his daughter, but his business. That's how he kept the legacy going, through this business contract that you know as marriage. He wrote it into the life insurance policy. Shout out to Alonzo Hall. He wrote it into the life insurance. He wrote it into the contract. The son inherits the son-in-law via life insurance through business contracts. The life insurance, the marriage, everything, the will. He put it in the will. He put it in the life insurance. I know if you thought like the game, oh, perfect. What do you get? What do you get? What do you get? You're thinking from a Disney perspective. You're not thinking from a biblical perspective. You're not thinking from a patriarchal perspective. And if you go into it with this Disney-esque belief, it's designed to fail. Which is why that father wrote that into the contract. I was going to bring up the Trump daughter. The Trump daughter married, what's that boy name? When we talk about what do you get? When he married the Trump daughter, what did he get? He ended up in the White House, in the White House cabinet. Ivanka should run for president. But who? And Jared, his name is Jared. Jared. Jerry married the Trump daughter, and he benefited, elevated. That's what marriage is about. That's what marriage is. And gang, despite what the comments are saying, and this is unfortunate because you already had the baby, you know, Bill Cosby married a descendant of the Kennedys. And you know why? Because you should be asking this question. Hey, Tampa Bomb, I've been calling your name, boy. Bill Cosby married a descendant of the Kennedys. Gang, my friend shifted through 3 or 4 different women. And you know what you should be asking as a multimillionaire? What do I get? The comment section is perverted. But I am telling you from a patriarchal standpoint, from a father. Even you have daughters, I have daughters. What does she get? You should be asking. You should marry a woman similar to the Trump. She should be asking, what does she get? Game, you most definitely should be asking, what do I get? I'm a multi-millionaire. I'm a king. I watch Disney Channel also. This is what's wrong with the matriarchy. Men are not asking, game. You don't know what you should get. I'm telling you, you're wrong and you're misguided, but I love your inquiry. And I want to use your inquiry as a bully pulpit to teach and ask other men similar questions. You should be asking, what do you get? If you look at the Rothschilds, if you look at the Trumps, if you look at the Cosbys, if you look at the Kennedys, if you look at the Bushes, you should be asking, what do I get? But you should have asked it of her father. Yeah! You should have been trying to marry a princess. You the game. You should have been marrying the Princess of Belarus or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Colgate princess, a car princess, a dental princess, a used car salesman princess, some type of princess. That's what you should have been. Somebody's Beyonce. Jay-Z married somebody's Beyonce. Oh, that's a great example. Perfect. You're cooking. You're cooking. Oh, you're cooking. What do you get? That's an excellent question, nigga. What did Jay-Z get? See, game, I don't know if you want the answer, because the answer, you might not be happy with the answer, because it's the right question, but you too late. You a day late and $1 short. And all of the people around you, you see the fucking comments? What did Jay-Z get? It's a great question. It's a great question. Let's read the question again. If you give a man the cat and he gives you the eggplant, you both have made an even exchange. So after that, he's supposed to support you financially to keep you, correct? And if he does, what do you even, and if he does, what do you do to even the scale at that point? Asking for the male species. What do you do to even the scale? What do you get? The game is asking, what do I get in return? I said to you many different things. God, thank you, God. God bless everybody watching. Bless the chat. Bless the channel. Thank you for another great show. Amen. God led me to Jay-Z. So I asked the audience and anybody listening, what did Jay-Z get? It's a hell of a question, right? What did Jay-Z get? Would Game be asking this question if he found his Beyonce? If he had to go to the father, and the father reluctantly gave up the daughter and knew she was never coming back, she wouldn't be a Knowles, she would be a Carter. The money she generated money for the Knowles, for the daddy. He created the group. Destiny Child, that's his daughter. Beyonce is his daughter. He was making, you know, he negotiated with Jay-Z. This ain't no game. Beyonce had to pay her father for a certain amount of years because she was going to become the property of Jay-Z. She made Jay-Z a billionaire. Jay-Z does not become a billionaire without a Beyonce. Beyonce may save his life. If Diddy were married to a black woman, how come I got to say all the intelligent stuff? How come I got to be so intelligent? If Diddy were married to a black woman, do you think he would have got bail? We live in a matriarchy. He was a target. Prince was a target. Michael Jackson was a target. They weren't married to black women. They weren't protected by the matriarchy. O.J. Simpson was married to a black woman. He received protection under the matriarchy. When O.J. Simpson when he was married to a white woman, it was seen to be the property of white women. He lost his covering. He lost his covering. If Diddy was married to a black woman, Beyonce may save Jay-Z's life. Yeah, the technicality and all this shit, the girl lying, but none of this shit mattered for Diddy. You know what's so powerful about the Jay-Z aspect of the Diddy lawsuit? The girl is obviously lying. None of that mattered. It didn't matter for R. Kelly. It didn't matter for Deshaun Watson. It didn't matter for Bill Cosby. Do y'all get that? As we look at the Jay-Z piece of the lawsuit, what is blaringly obvious is the girl is lying, but she was always lying and it never mattered. We want Diddy head. Give us Barabbas. We want Diddy head. It didn't matter. Do y'all get what I'm saying? She's always been lying. It didn't matter. It matters because Jay-Z has a black wife. Why are we listening to anything Jay-Z says? Why do we care about the girl lying? We don't care when it comes to Sean Diddy Combs. We do not care if Little Rod is lying. We do not care if the 13-year-old girl is lying, if it is in reference to Diddy. Why do you care if she is lying in reference to Jay-Z? It makes Beyonce look bad. Jay-Z has a black wife. Why did Barack Obama have to marry a black woman? What do you get? We talked about Jay-Z. What did Jay-Z get? What did Barack Obama get? I said to you, before Jeremy Reeves proposed to that white girl, what did I say? We had a Tampa Bomb. We had a podcast here. God is so powerful. I said, in order to be accepted in this Western Disney society and be on Nike, be on the Wheaties box, and you're a black athlete, you got to have a black wife. If you have a white wife, you cannot be champion. Jeremy proposed to that white woman. The Redskins, the Washington Commanders, he got hell. He got flack. If he ever was going to get a Nike contract, anything, that shit out the fucking window. I say to God, I'm like, God, you know, I don't make money off of YouTube. It's difficult to do this because I don't get the views I feel like I deserve to get. But certain things happen that motivate me to do a podcast. And when I sat here and I said to my audience, you're not getting a Nike contract if you're not married to a black woman. 2 days after I said that, a black man proposes to a white woman and gets canceled. It doesn't matter what shakes out after that. What matters is he's no longer viable for money as a brand. He can't do any branding for anybody, because if he comes out as your spokesperson in the comments, people gonna make fun of that white wife. So he can't be Budweiser. He can't be Wingstop. Maybe he could do a Cheerios commercial. You know, Cheerios got the mixed commercials. But he can't do Nike. He can't do no big branding because the black women won't accept you. Remember Nate Parker in the movie? If you got a white wife, and then we see him propose, and the black women go crazy. Where have all the good men gone? So when I brought this up last week, let me show some more videos before I keep going. Let me show I had another perspective I want to share with you guys. Where have all the good men gone? Relationship advice from an OG perspective. Check this out.
Black women have a problem that most black men are stepping outside of their race, right? Well, fact number one is there's a reason for that. If those men are searching for feminine women, why don't you just implement what they're looking for? Fact number two, what they ended up doing is those of you that are capable and, you know, willing to work and become a successful African-American woman, So now let's switch it up. So now we have African American women who are super successful. What's the first thing that they do? They shit on the black man. Now we got stats. Black women are graduating colleges at a higher rate than black men. Black women are more making 30% or whatever the stat is more than black. And they rave about it instead of saying, I'm going to give back to my community.
And they don't mentor the women below them. And they don't understand that black men don't care about your degree.
Yep.
We don't care about your profession.
Why aren't black women required to give back to the community time? Bitches getting BBLs and Section 8 projects. They're can't even sit on the plane, going on their knees, flying back home, going back to the project. Single, not married, no nigga, don't own the car, don't own the house, and to be honest, don't even own the ass. The ass is on care credit. How many of these monkey-footed motherfuckers is gonna die with body parts that ain't paid for? Hold on, wait a minute. Who gonna pay for the body parts? Who gonna pay for the body parts? If y'all remember the great crisis, the great real estate balloon pop? What happened when the ass popped? The BBL balloon is gonna burst. But they gonna put together all these commodities and subsidies. Shout out to Tampa Bog, Alonzo, all these good rich niggas, rich intelligent niggas, right? They gonna put together some subsidies, commodities, and BBLs. All these BBL drizzy, and they gonna crash them. They gonna short the market. These hoes. They gonna come out. Kramer gonna come out and say, "Hey, we got a problem with the stock market. Why? We didn't gave these hoes too much money to spend on their ass, and they ain't paying it back. Right? They shorting it, man. They shorting the care credit. Hey, bro, oh man, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. These hoes, this is so funny, man. Why black women? Well, I can't say it. I gotta say it for algorithm. Why is it the B-dub, or why aren't women required to give back to the community in the same way as men? That's what I want to say. How you like that, algorithm? Take that, algorithm.
Facts.
And now you're by yourself.
Because you're not a partner. And you're operating for yourself. Black women have a problem that...
Because you're not a partner and you're operating for yourself. That's powerful, man. Powerful. We getting it done, man. We getting it done, man. Come on, man. We ain't done.
Most dudes that I know who date outside their race, outside of our black race, were looked at as lames in the black community.
Yeah.
It wasn't a situation where it's like, okay, now I grew up aspiring to be with a white woman. What the story is typically I grew up, I was in my black neighborhood, I didn't fit in, the women didn't want me, I would shoot my shot and they would curve me over and over and over again. But then when I went to talk to this white girl, she was vibing with me and we just picked it up and then went from there. So now I date white women now.
Huh? What'd he say? What'd he say? Where have all the good men gone? Let's run that back. Let's run that back, because we gonna segue into Urkel. There's a perfect segue into Urkel. Let's listen to that one more time. Then we're gonna segue into Steve Urkel, Jaleel White.
Most dudes that I know who date outside their race, outside of our black race, were looked at as lames in the black community.
Yeah.
It wasn't a situation where it's like, okay, now I grew up aspiring to be with a white woman.
No.
What the story is typically I grew up, I was in my black neighborhood, I didn't fit in, the women didn't want me, I would shoot my shot and they would curve me over and over and over again. But then when I went to talk to this white girl, she was vibing with me and we just picked it up and then went from there. So now I date white women now. But it's not a situation where it's like, oh no, I was bred, I was taught since young, and oh no, I want to be the white woman. Black woman, hell no, I'm good. Now, when the same dude, that nerd who was lame in the neighborhood, you wasn't given no opportunity. Hell no, I don't want to go on no date. Just get away from me. The same dude 15 years later is a multimillionaire. And now he's dating a white woman and you look at him like, oh, it's so loud. Most dudes that I know who date outside their race, outside of our black race,
were looked at as lames in the black community.
Yeah.
Great video. He made an excellent point. Do you agree? He said most of the brothers that he know that date outside of their race, they weren't raised to date outside of their race. Instead, they were quote unquote square, which means they went to school every day, got good grades, which means they were raised to respect women, respect other people, and have strong character. Ain't that some shit? So the guys in the hood, the black men in the hood who were raised to have strong character, good grades, respect women and children, weren't successful dating black women, and they tried over and over and over again. He said this is real life experience. Anybody in the comment section know this guy? I know this. I am this guy. So anybody else know this guy? So he says the same individual who was unsuccessful with the black woman in the inner city he grew up with tried to date white women, and they were a receptacle. To the game's point, to the game's question, and this is what I say to Roger all the time: stop dating black women. This is why I stop dating the beat. This is why I say to Game's question, the men that he know, the men like me, asked, what do I get? They kept dating black women, and it was a non-reciprocal occurrence. So they dated outside of their race, and they received. Game. For anybody who disagrees with me, who says Game shouldn't receive anything, he's saying that men who tried to date within their race kept finding non-reciprocal interactions, so dated outside of their race, and they began to receive. They were always willing to give. They were raised to provide and protect. They like opening doors. They like being polite. They want to love. They caress their wife and protect their children. But it was shunned in their neighborhood by their women. So they want to say where the good man at. Well, when the good man wanted to open your door, you fucked his friend. When the good man wanted to propose, you said, wait, while you was fucking his friend. When the good man wanted to be your husband, buy you a diamond ring, and you said no, while you was fucking his friend. So he found a situation like Game is asking. Something reciprocal. Tampa Bong said, for me, it's true. The stories that the BW refused because the conversations that a Filipino is building became, wow, for me, it's true. The stone that the BW refused became the cornerstone that a Filipino was building. That's their loss. A lot of us was like committed to the B-dub, and we have scars from our trials and our beliefs. I thought the people who told me were racist, so I had to go through a lot before I attempted to find a reciprocal relationship outside of my race. Like Ali Sadiq, despite my pain, I was staunch that I would never date anyone but a black woman. So let's listen to this one more time, and I'm gonna segue to Jaleel White.
It wasn't a situation where it's like, okay, now I grew up aspiring to be with a white woman. what the story is typically I grew up, I was in my black neighborhood, I didn't fit in, the women didn't want me, I would shoot my shot and they would curve me over and over and over again. But then when I went to talk to this white girl, she was vibing with me and we just picked it up and then went from there. So now I date white women now. But it's not a situation where it's like, oh no, I was bred, I was taught since young, and oh no, I want to be the white woman. Black woman, hell no, I'm good. Now, when the same dude, that nerd who was lame in the neighborhood, you wasn't given no opportunity. Hell no, I don't want to go on no date. Just get away from me. The same dude 15 years later is a multimillionaire.
Nerd. Lame. Ugh. How many of us have dealt with that? I dealt with that because I was overweight. So not only was I a nerd and was I lame, but I'm overweight. I be quiet when we be talking about this BW topic because I know how cruel the BW could be, especially with overweight black men. Overweight black men are immediately disqualified. If you overweight and you don't have money, you are immediately disqualified. So you overweight and you intelligent, articulate, you know I'm loud spoken. You know how many people just don't like me because I'm loud? All my whole life. You would think on a podcast I would learn to like be more accepting to others. But you know what I've learned? Fuck other people. I like me. Like Sauce Walker said, I come from a place where, man, I love me. I love me more than you love you. So if I love me more than you love you, why the fuck would I change my tone and my vernacular? Fuck these motherfuckers on the YouTube algorithm and the motherfuckers who don't like the way I serve up my shit and then go sit in front of a sucker. Nah, man, I'm not changing the way I'm my delivery, man. God would tell me if I needed to change my delivery. I'm not changing my delivery. It's just sucker shit. Nerd. Think about this. Nerd and lame. The person with good grades, Tampa Bong went to a PWI. The black boy who's guaranteed to go to college is a nerd, is lame, is I've been It's not the good men are The good men are lame. The good men are nerds. To a certain sector of the population. To a certain sector of the population, the good man is a nerd. The good man is a lame. The good man is until she needs him. Right? And what better example of that is Stefan and Urkel. Urkel was Urkel had glasses. Urkel was a nerd. Urkel was most definitely going to college and going to be successful. You could bet on that. But he was still a nerd. He was still a lame. He was still a brokey. Because he wasn't a millionaire yet, but he was most definitely going to college. He was most definitely going to be successful. But Stefan, oh my God, Stefan is here. Stefan is here. Stefan, we don't know when Stefan is going to college. We don't know if Stefan got money. We don't give a fuck. Stefan is here. What about all that shit, bitch, you said you wanted, bitch? Shut up, square ass nigga. Stefan is here. Tampa Bond said, bro, as a sophomore, junior, and senior in high school, I was called Urkel. Come on now. I was 6'2", only 145 pounds in high school, and being tall and skinny with glasses. And in all honors classes, I was labeled lame, or I was Mr. Pro Black in high school. Come on. And I was Mr. Pro Black. Just like me, I was Mr. Pro Black. You get disqualified. So The young brother gave his example. Let's listen to what Jaleel White said, and let's see if it rings true to the last video.
Okay. Now this is where I have a little issue with it.
Come on
and this
with
is
it.
and this is what something that Van was alluding to.
Come on, see, this is the part of a black woman that I enjoy. Come on. I wish we had treats.
You were
I wish there was food on the table.
you were talking about how your mom raised you, and you kind of were just alluding to it. Your mom told you to open car doors. Your mom told you to push in chairs. And you were saying that when your mom told you to do these things, it didn't make you attractive to an attractive teen black girl.
Yeah, nah, you.
I took a little, but that was like a generalization that I took offense to. Like, as we've been saying this
In
whole
LA,
time,
though.
we've been
I'm talking
talking
about LA.
But you didn't say LA.
I would
love for you to clarify, because I read that and
I disagree with the LA, and I disagree that he needs to clarify. He said what he said. He wrote what he wrote. I want to hear it again. We're going to hear it again. And tell me if it rings true.
Into the driver's seat of the whole situation, ordering alcohol without getting freaking checked, carded. Like, to me, what I see that.
thinking, do I name this? Do I not? No, I don't want to bring it. I want to talk about
Because the stories weren't
behind
sexual.
it.
So that's why. It was just that simple. The story and I had the choice, because there's certain people who are not, the names were changed.
Yeah.
But the stories weren't sexual. And I didn't feel like I was exploiting them as women to speak on anything that happened sexually.
Again, a good guy, putting other people first.
Okay. Now this is where I have a little issue with it.
Come on with it.
And this is what something that Van was alluding to.
Come on, see, this is the part of a black woman that I enjoy. Come on. I wish we had treats.
You were
I wish there was food on the table.
You were talking about how your mom raised you, and you kind of were just alluding to it. Your mom told you to open car doors. Your mom told you to push in chairs. And you were saying that when your mom told you to do these things, it didn't make you attractive to an attractive teen black girl.
Yeah, nah, you.
I took a little, but that was like a generalization that I took offense to. Like, as we've been saying this
In
whole
LA,
time,
though.
we've been
I'm talking about LA.
But you didn't say LA. I would love for you to clarify, because I read that, and I know if I'm like talking to other people, I read it in general, I'm like, man, like that's such a generalization, because it makes it seem like attractive black girls might not be into a gentleman. And it didn't seem fair.
So once again, that's how
Tampa Bond, we must be crazy, Tampa Bond. I mean, she said our experience must be the exception. You know, despite me and you never meeting, you being across the globe, this other brother in Texas, I'm in California, but we all have similar experiences despite being sparse across the country and across the globe. She says she's offended by the fact of what we're saying and what Urkel wrote about. That they don't want a good guy. They honestly don't, and she's offended by the reality. This is the perversion. How can you be it's the truth. He wouldn't have wrote it. It's his real life experience. Let's continue to listen.
I got in trouble with in Delaware, and it's important for us to teach other people, not teach, but share with other people.
A square from Delaware. A square from Delaware.
This is when you get in trouble, when you generalize any statement. Try to be as specific as you possibly can, all right? But in LA, we are not going to ignore that there was a giant period when you were just an embryo and you were not here yet, okay?
I'm an 80s baby.
Where it was, the bad boys were up big. There was a certain aesthetic that, just like he said, he knew what Darius was doing, that Darius might not have been, he might not have had the image of a rapper, but believe me, in private quarters, Darius knew how to move. And so I felt like my mom conditioned me to be a bit of a pushover.
Woo!
And even when I look at her relationship with my father and things.
Son husband, woo, 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 woo. Son husband, alert, alert, Travis Hunter, alert. Get that young man on the phone, Travis Hunter. Hello, Travis. Yes, we trying to come to you from another dimension. I just watched Interstellar last night. That was a good movie. Travis Hunter, I'm coming to you from the black dimension. Shout out from the black side. Give me 5 on the black hand side. Travis Hunter, I'm coming from you from the black dimension, beyond the 5th dimension, beyond the prism, by the river, by the river. We coming to you live. Can you listen to us one time?
It makes it seem like attractive Black girls might not be into a gentleman.
So,
and
He said his mama may have, even in this, he can't even be honest about the truth that his mama raised him to be a pushover. He said his mother may have raised him to be a pushover. And then, just like every other conversation that we've had and we've seen, he goes to his childhood trauma. He goes to his childhood trauma.
Didn't seem fair.
So once again, that's how I got in trouble with in Delaware. And it's important for us to teach other people, not teach, but share with other people. This is when you get in trouble, when you generalize any statement. Try to be as specific as you possibly can. All right. But in LA, we are not going to ignore that there was a giant period when you were just an embryo and you were not here yet. Okay.
I'm an 80s baby.
Where it was the bad boys were up big. There was a certain aesthetic that, just like he said, he knew what Darius was doing, that Darius might not have been, he might not have had the image of a rapper, but believe me, in private quarters, Darius knew how to move. And so I felt like my mom conditioned me to be a bit of a pushover. And even when I look at her relationship with my father and things that they went through, my dad's a strong alpha dude.
Listen.
But there may have been times in their marriage where he felt run over.
Okay. That's powerful. Because what I said is, throughout this time period, we talked about a couple different interviews. Today we have Game asking a really good introspective question. I don't know why he's getting beat up. I'm proud of you, Game. Like I said to Jeezy, Game, you need to come to the Black Manosphere, bro. We could help you with that question. I did a lot today. What did Jay-Z get? What did Jared Kushner get? Huh? Ask yourself, what did Jay-Z get? You should be marrying a Beyonce, Game. And it's a valid question that every young man should ask before marriage. Think about this, Game. Game may be asking this question for Travis Hunter. Who here thinks Travis got him a Beyonce? He said, my father was an alpha male, but my mother walked over him. I bet, just like me and Tampa Bong, his initial relationships, because in this interview, he goes on to detail these 3 events where he attempted to date women who I speculate were identical to his mother, and each of the women dogged him. That's what happened to all of us. That's what the young man said in the video. that he tried and tried and tried to date women within his community. If you listen to this entire interview, the book is about Jaleel White and these three. Before this, the girl asked him, why did you name? He named the 3 BWs, Tampa Bong. He named them. She said, why did you name them? He said, because we didn't have sex. No black woman, even, he may have never, think about this, he made a superstar celebrity, never had sex with a black woman. Superstar celebrity may have never had sex with a black woman because he was Tampa Bong. He was a nerd. He was lame. He tried. The book details 3 tragic, comedically tragic experiences with B-dubs. So tragic, in fact, that this B-dub asks him, why did you name them? Because it's embarrassing to those women that they treated you like this and they fumbled a good man. And now this good man is married to a woman outside of our community. Why did you name them? Because now they got to explain to everybody, you dated Jaleel White and you dogged Jaleel White. Why did you dog Jaleel White? Why did all 3 of y'all dog Jaleel White and you didn't give him no pussy? Tampa Bong said the mayor doesn't lie. I took it down. The mayor doesn't lie. She's so upset by the truth. Why did you name them? I didn't have sex with them. They did dog me out. It's relevant to a young black man going through what me and Tampa Bong went through. I didn't write the book just for you. I wrote the book for everybody. It's relevant to a young black boy like Tampa Bong. There's boys in the high school right now, just like me, in AP classes, in CP classes. There are no black girls in that AP class. Our best friends are not traditional. There are black boys just like Tampa Bong, just like Jaleel White right now, who are trying their hardest to be everything for Tanisha. And Tanisha won't give them a shot. He tried buying Tanisha flowers. She makes fun of him when she buys flowers. He said, my mama taught me to open the door. I'm the guy, I buy flowers. My wife now, shit blow her mind. She still talk about it. No, none of her friends get flowers from a man. Flowers and candy. From when we first met, I buy her, but I bought my mother flowers and candy. What you don't know about good guys is it starts like that. Why do I buy my wife flowers and candy? Because I bought my mama flowers and candy. I love my single mom. I would buy her flowers and candy. Tampa, did you do that? How many young men who considered to be lame and nerds, how many of us did that? I opened the door for my mama. Of course, I'm going to do it for you.
And that's something that I had to unlearn. I felt like as a man, where it's okay, how do I be a gentleman? Because that's actually my nature. I love taking a woman out to eat. I love just.
He said that's something I had to unlearn. So that means he was scarred from his mother's treatment of his father. He was taught to be a pushover. This is quintessential black manosphere. This is what we are here for, brothers. A lot of us come here with red pill trauma, and we have to unlearn. My father was an alpha male. My mother walked over him. Inversely, I took on that as a child. I was walked over by the women I dated that resembled my mother. I had to unlearn. That's what we're supposed to be helping men do here. That's why I'm doing this today. Not to get points. I don't get paid. I don't get views. I mean, I pray the right men hear the message. That's my prayer. And that's up to God who get it.
Just rubbing a woman's feet while I'm watching TV. But how do I do these things and I'm not taken advantage of, or I'm seen of as just a pushover?
Come on now.
And that's what I think I was going through at that stage of trying to figure out, of trying to balance that. And listen, I'm being real. The East-West rap, the cool dudes back there were Pac, Tretch, everything Poetic Justice. That's what was popping. And so the imagery has changed now. So in this day and age, yeah, a woman of any kind would be a fool to dismiss a guy because he wore glasses. What? You'd be a fool to do that. But back then, that's the thing that I enjoy so much about the 90s and why I am busting my butt to clarify and tell more stories from the 90s, because I think that I'm capable of doing them in a way that are, number one, going to be entertaining, not going to bore you, and number two, going to be unbiased. Like, you got a problem? Put it on the table. Let's talk about it.
Do you think that
I get it.
your experience with women in the 90s, black women in the 90s, black women in LA in the 90s, had any lasting effects on your perception of black women into your 20s or 30s or 40s?
Nah, because I traveled. Like, I my passport stamp. Like, I'm like, I'd have been all around South America.
You learn from all of your experiences. And he just said he had to unlearn that behavior. So it sounds like to me he went to therapy. So he's trying to appease them. He's trying to sell a book. He don't want to offend them. But he just said, I had to unlearn that behavior. And he obviously he did learn. He's intelligent. He's retrospective. He did learn something, which is why he put it in the book. He wants you to learn something. Come on now. He wants you to learn from his interactions with the B-dub, from the perspective of a nerd and a lame, someone who was raised to be a good boy, a good brother. He wants you to learn what he went through as that naive individual. That's the term I was looking for. And how he had to unlearn that and become the man that we see today. Doesn't he look like a man? His own man who doesn't really care whether or not you know or respect or give a fuck about if I'm married to a white woman or not. He's reached that point in his life.
I've been all around Europe. When I talk about any experience that I had with black women, I need people to really focus on the fact that I am from LA. Like, I am from LA so much that when Spike Lee roots for the Knicks on the court, it offends me. Like, I'm like, that's how LA I'm from. Mm-hmm. So, we have a different culture of woman out here, period.
What does that mean?
Just a lot more cosmopolitan and a lot more opinionated, a lot more like, hey, sometimes, an ambition to be the star, to be the main character. My daughter talks about that. She's, she got.
Do you think that's unique to LA? Or is that unique to a certain demographic? Let me know in the chat. Is that unique to LA? Was this experience unique to LA, or was it unique to all BW? Because they're delineating down to, he wants them to delineate down to BWs in the LA in the 90s. Is that a fair assessment, or is that it still applies today? That's a valid question.
Got to be the main character, she gets, these are the terms from her generation. Whereas, in Baton Rouge or in South Carolina or Houston, whatever, you're going to meet a completely different kind of sister. And I live in Los Angeles. There's a large part of love, man, that is geography. And people got to understand that. If I put you in Australia long enough, dog, with that hat, yeah, okay.
But let me tell you something.
Can I take your question a step further?
Sure, go.
Are you okay?
No, go.
And I say this because of what the question I just asked you about the what I just read, what Van was saying, and then what he just asked. And I can say this, having been married to somebody outside of my race. do you feel like you found that because of what you went through maybe in the 90s and certain things with the perception of Black women in LA, to be more specific, that you found non-Black women to be more receptive to you, which has led to some of the choices that you made?
I did.
Okay, can you explain that further? And
I
I said,
mean,
again, I'm married outside of my race.
I don't want to.
Did you find non-Black women more receptive? And he said, I did. Tampa said, sounds like Tampa, Dartmouth, and North Carolina in 1987 to 2013. You was in school for a long time, nigga. Smart ass nigga. Smart rich ass nigga. Oh, that's my brother, man. Dartmouth. Shout out to this brother, man. Shitting on the real side. You know that's a humble brag. Shout out to my brother one time. I like that humble brag, brother. That was a good one. Tiptoe through the chat on the bitch real quick, bitch. Just in case somebody watching didn't think that I was one of the ones you missed out on, bitch. You know, you missed like dirt, bitch, ho. Oh man, he said the attitude virus isn't constrained to geography. I don't think so. That's why I asked that question. I think he's doing that to you know, because Van is a feminist. It's a male. Van is a man. Look at that cowboy hat, boy. That boy, I ain't gonna even get in the van. Y'all remember how sensitive he was when Kanye West was at TMZ. That's what made him famous, that sensitive explosion he had on Kanye West. But now, if you don't know this girl, she was on The Bachelor, and she married a white Latino. Now, I've been talking to you about the hip-hop conversation. I looked up the definition of Puerto Rican, and I told you that Latinos are white. And in this conversation, they will talk about her ex-husband, and she will say Latino, and Van will say white. To anybody who disagrees, now, I haven't heard all of the YouTubers who've been saying all of this actually go to the perspective that Latino is white. And the really corrosive and pervasive and sinister aspect of Fat Joe's comments, because Latino is white and seen as white, accepted as white. They check the white box in California, and even Van knows that. It's funny we know that when we talk of dating, but when it's
number one thing that I don't think that I always want to make clear is that my appreciation for Black women and who I ultimately ended up with as a wife, those things can be mutually exclusive.
I agree.
I don't know why they can't. You know, it's man.
I agree. You could,
man, I gotta be careful, man, because I'm like, I like to tell things. I like to answer your question sometimes in funny stories. Okay. My job to me is always entertain people, because they actually appreciate maybe the point of view better that way, right? Over these last 30 years, especially in Los Angeles. And I think even faster in Los Angeles culturally, in places where things like that are not so accepted. Project onto them everything you want them to be. And then they start to become who they are.
Part of the reason I ask is because of what we're talking about in the book, but also because I married somebody outside of my race, and that the world met me on that level. A white show, but The Bachelor. I went on to The Bachelor was white. Then I am The Bachelorette, and I choose somebody who's not Black. I mean, Colombian, but white.
The nigga white.
White. And
see that? That's my last point. I choose somebody that's Colombian. She says white, and Van says that nigga white. That's even closer. I was going to say Latino, but that's even closer to Puerto Rican. That's even closer to the Fat Joe hip-hop argument, because Colombians is right there with Fat Joe with the bullshit. And here we are. Here we're talking about relationships. The OG relationship guru, Perfect Timing Podcast with the blast on their ass and the dash real fast, 25 won't last. And it's okay to refer to a Colombian as white. It's known. She called him white. He called him white. Urkel giggle. Look at the big smile on Urkel face. Far as they concerned, Colombian white. I'm gonna tell you, I'm in California. Colombian white. Anglo. That's my last pointer today. Y'all take that and run with it. We'll get back to that at a later date about that Puerto Rican versus black conversation. I told Temple Bong, I said, if you talking to somebody and they saying Puerto Rican versus black, you're not having an intellectual conversation because they obviously don't understand what black is. They don't understand what Puerto Rican is. Puerto Rican is a mixed ethnicity, mostly European. Latino, it says in the definition, Google it. Latino is a mixed race, mostly European, left over from the Spanish. Me and Tampa talk about this shit all the time. Left over from Spanish colonization. There was no Puerto Rico originally. There was no none of these places. The people there were dropped off by the slave ships. Mexico, them Mexicans, them white them people was from the Spanish. There was somebody else. The Oaxacan and all that Indian shit, that's different people. Jalisco, when I told you about that's different people. That's why we having this identity crisis that Cat Williams was talking about. You don't know, the Mexicans don't know what a Mexican is. They speak in Spanish. George Lopez, one of his funniest jokes, he said, I don't like the Hispanic shit. He said, what is Hispania? Yesterday I said, what is Hispanic? And then somebody said it was made up in the Nixon administration. It's a new term. George Lopez said there is no Hispania. George Lopez said we should be friends with the black people. We shouldn't be acting like this because who we really are. We just like them. We products of colonization and European imperialism and what the Spanish did. There is no Hispania. They don't consider us Spanish when we go to Spain. We niggas just like them. And for us to be arguing with each other is fucking ludicrous. Fucking slave plantation, sugarcane versus cotton. But we both ain't shit. And it's about the matriculation into whiteness. And why is the true argument? The true argument is because, like I said, why do Africans come here and fight so bad not to be called black? It's because they understand whiteness. This is about whiteness. What do Yvette Carnell talk to you about? Whiteness. This argument about hip-hop is about the Latinos' matriculation to whiteness and their understanding of whiteness and your lack of understanding of whiteness. It don't even got to do with you being black and you not knowing about being Negro versus that black girl who was able to delineate blackness and say you could date black, but don't date an African-American. You can date a Haitian. You could date a Jamaican. She's acknowledging that Jamaicans and Haitians are black and African-American. She acknowledged that all three are black. An African-American, a Jamaican, and a Haitian. But she delineated. Why can't you delineate? And she told people, yeah, you could date black, just don't date an African-American. That's all we talking about. So I truly, this shit is confusing. And I feel like I'm the first person in this debate to bring out the fact that the Latino is white. And when the Latino is saying they created hip hop, they're always doing this. They're rewriting history. When they say hip hop is 50, they're removing the Negro experience from hip hop, from history, just like rock and roll. This is how they did it with rock and roll. You didn't create hip hop. White people created hip hop. Latino white people created hip hop. And when I said this argument, I said, go look, I gotta go. Look at that video where the white man said he created reggae. The white man who produced Stirred Up for Bob Marley. Bob Marley's father is white. There's a video on MTV, a white man, and he in the history books. It ain't even conjecture. A white man in the history books for creating that sound. That accent in Jamaica, is an Irish accent. Busta Rhymes. That accent is an Irish accent. There's a white man who said he created reggae. So this is the same thing as that white man saying he created reggae. When Fat Joe say Latinos created hip hop, he's saying white people created hip hop. When they say hip hop is 50, they say hip hop is removed from the American Negro experience. Hip hop is 50. Hip hop ain't got nothing to do with the Negro spiritual, nothing that you Negroes went through, gospel, R&B, none of that shit. Hip hop is white. From the Caribbean and white Latinos, European, just like Jamaican and reggae is white. Tampa Barnes said, nationally isn't a race, ethnic group. No, it's not. Nationality is not a race or ethnic group. The native Columbus wrote about were melanated, correct. I said that the other day when I talked about this, or how white people name places and name people. That name still stuck. I gotta go, y'all. I love y'all.